This is a training session regarding payroll settings. In specific, we will cover the general and accounts and accrual distribution sections of the Payroll Setup Options program. To access these settings, select Payroll from the Setup Accounting Options menu, or just right-click on the Payroll menu icon and select Payroll Setup. We'll start with the settings on the General tab.
The default state for entry of new employees should be the home state of your company. This will ensure that when a new employee is entered into the system, he will always be assigned this state as the employee's state of residence, unless otherwise indicated.
Check this box if you want the system to warn you if you enter a duplicate Social Security number when adding a new employee.
The source for prevailing wage rates question refers to the Certified Craft Code Dictionary. In this dictionary are stored a number of certified payroll craft codes and their associated regular and overtime hourly pay rates. In most cases, if you are using a Certified Craft Code Dictionary, you are also using a job wage rate table for each individual job that specifies the regular and overtime pay rates that should be paid to an employee working on this craft on a specific job. If you're using a wage rate table, then you must select Job Wage Rate Table from this pull-down list. Otherwise, if you wish all employees on all jobs who work on a certain certified craft code to be paid the same wage rate, select Certified Craft Dictionary. At that point, the system will always use the regular and overtime wage rates stored in the Certified Craft Dictionary to override the employee's regular and overtime pay rates from their employee file. You can also instruct the timesheet entry program to ignore the default craft code from the employee record if you are entering a time card and charging it to a job that is not a certified job. Here you can indicate whether you wish for premium time hours to be tracked on timesheet entry screens. On all timesheet entry screens, regular hours and overtime hours may be entered. If this box is checked, the system will also allow for the entry of premium time hours. This setting refers to setting up shift differentials. Click the button and this list box is displayed. We'll click the Insert button and create a shift. This is a swing shift, so we'll give it an appropriate ID and description. Employees working the swing shift will have their regular and overtime rates modified using these settings. We can modify the rate by adding an amount per hour or a percentage, or by replacing the employee pay rate with a different rate. We're going to increase all their pay rates by 15%. Now, when we enter timesheets, we can pick this shift differential and our employee pay rates will all be increased by 15% for the hours we enter. This section refers to changes made to records in the employee file. The program has the ability to store a note detailing what changes are made to employee records. Using this setting, indicate whether you wish the program to create these notes, and whether you want the user to be given the option whether to create the note or not each time they make a change to an employee record. The last setting deals with accruing employee vacation, sick, and pension hours and pay. Some companies want to accrue employee benefits in this manner, but they call it something different. For example, your company may accrue vacation time, but call it paid time off, or PTO. You can change the labels for any of these three types of accruals here. The user-defined label will be used in all system screens and reports.
The next tab is titled Accounts and Accrual Distribution.
Here we can enter general ledger account numbers for our payroll checking account and our wages payable account. Wages payable are the wages held between the time of the payroll posting and the time of the paycheck generation. This setting applies to the distribution of the premium portion of an employee's pay. Let's say an employee is paid $20 per hour, with $30 for overtime. If the employee works 1 overtime hour and the timesheet line item is charged to a specific general ledger account, do you want all $30 to be charged to that account? Or do you want $20 charged to that account and the additional or premium portion of the pay, in this case the extra $10, to be charged to a different account? If you want to charge the entire $30 to the distribution account indicated on the timesheet, select Distribute. Otherwise, pick a different GL account, usually an account called Premium Pay or something, for the premium portion of the employee's pay. Most people select Distribute here. This area of the window has to do with the distribution of the expense for accrued payroll liabilities. When employer-paid accruals are calculated during payroll posting, the accrued amounts are credited to the accrual accounts defined in federal, state, and local tax setup windows. Here, you can control where the expense or debit side of these transactions is charged. The expense used will depend on whether the employee's time is charged to a general ledger account, a piece of equipment, or a job. If the time is charged to a GL account or a piece of equipment, there are 2 different options for distributing the expense for each of these accrual types. We can either distribute them to the actual GL account or piece of equipment that the time was charged to, or charge them to a specific general ledger account. Valid entries in each of these 5 fields are either the word distribute or any valid general ledger account number. This column deals with expensing payroll accruals on timesheets charged to job cost codes. FICA, unemployment, workers' comp, general liability, and union accruals are each represented here. We have 3 options for entering a valid destination for these accruals. The first option is the word distribute, which means that the accrued expense will be charged to the same job and cost code that the person's time is charged to. The second option is a general ledger account number. This would charge the person's time to the job and cost code, but would charge the accruals to the indicated general ledger account. The third option is to specify a job cost code, which would mean that the person's time would be charged to the job and cost code indicated on the time card. The accrual, on the other hand, would be expensed to the timesheet job and the cost code that is specified in this field here. For example, if we were to specify cost code 1002B in this field, the person's wages would be charged to whatever code they worked on, but their accruals would be charged to the same job they worked on, but to cost code 1002B. The next fields are for tracking of vacation, sick pay, and pension pay. When a person hands in a time card that indicates he has taken 8 hours of vacation, the general ledger account or job cost code to which that vacation is charged should match the vacation pay account or cost code indicated on this screen. If it does, then the system will track that time as vacation time and deduct the hours from the person's accrued vacation total. We'll save these entries by clicking the OK button.
This ends this payroll setup training session.